What did you expect was going to be the reaction to it?
Well, most books get very little attention at all. So most books, right, I certainly didn't expect the, massive reaction that I got. I mean, the public campaign to ban me from every possible outlet was so hypercharged, and to some extent, it was successful. I mean, they kept the book on Amazon. It was deleted from Target. You can't find it in a public library in America, no matter how many people try to donate it to their library.
Joe Rogan has been on a streak recently of bringing a lot of guests on his podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, to have some really good, insightful, and just productive conversations about society. And Joe Rogan himself has been, very open, a lot more open to having these conversations, and his opinions have changed a whole bunch ever since he started having these conversations with these experts who just basically bring him the facts instead of what the left does, what the woke crowd does, where they just try to combat Joe Rogan and what his opinions are with just emotion and trying to cancel him and saying, don't watch Joe Rogan anymore because he holds this opinion. Instead, people on the other side of things, the people who piss off the woke cult and the people who Joe Rogan are going to talk to in this video right here, and in the future ones that I'm going to show you after this, they just bring facts to him. They have written books. They have studies to bring him, So that's why Joe Rogan is going with that side, because he does have some common sense in the tank. And before, these people like Joe Rogan, Russel Brand, and the rest of them, they were full-on raging liberals before. But it's just gotten to a point now, and I'll show you a clip where Joe Rogan actually discusses this on why he left the left. It's gotten to a point now where there is no common sense left. There is no reason left. There is no facts. There is no logic left on the left. There's just none. So you can't stay on that side. Anyway, let's get into this clip here from Joe Rogan talking to Abigail Shrier. This is a tweet from Myth Informed that says the rates of, toaster bath for kids with gender dysphoria are no higher than the general population. On Joe Rogan, Abigail Shrier explains how hard the gender cult activists work to prevent parents from knowing this fact. Pretty wild conversation. If you haven't watched the full podcast, highly recommend it. But anyway, let's get into this clip here from Joe Rogan and Abigail Shrier on this very, very controversial topic.
You recognize that there's like this contagion, this social contagion that seems to be happening. It's a big part of what's going on. And a lot of these kids are very easily influenced. A lot of them are on the spectrum, and they're being led down this road. So you write this book. What did you expect was going to be the reaction to it?
Well, most books get very little attention at all. So most books, right, I certainly didn't expect the, massive reaction that I got. I mean, the public campaign to ban me from every possible outlet was so hypercharged, and to some extent, it was successful. I mean, they kept the book on Amazon. It was deleted from Target. You can't find it in a public library in America, no matter how many people try to donate it to their library.
And what's funny about this is they're going to claim that the right and the conservatives and us, the people, not even just right and conservative, just the people who are out there open to new information, who are trying to spread more common sense and figure out what the common sense really is, using facts, using studies, using knowledge that we actually gain from books and these knowledge and these facts and studies. They're going to say that we're the ones banning books, when they're the ones that somebody like this, Abigail Shrier, writes a book on these topics that they don't want people to know the truth about. They don't want people to have the actual scientific facts and the studies. They don't want people to have that. They just want you to feel the emotion. They just want to use their emotion and their cancel culture and stuff like that. And they're going to ban her book from Target, from Amazon, from public libraries. They're not going to allow her book to be in there. Why? Because it gives you a actual scientific backed reasoning and argument to why they are wrong, and they can't do anything to that except for ban it. They can't argue it back. Nobody on their side could write a book using facts and scientific studies to combat what Abigail Shrier is talking about here on the Joe Rogan podcast. Nobody can write that book, so they just have to ban it. That's their only option. They have no other option. They have to just ban it, silence anyone who's talking about it, who's referencing it, cancel anyone who agrees with it. That's their only weapons that they have. And it's losing power nowadays.
Libraries. So to some extent, it was successful.
And I'm going to let the rest of the clip play now, but shout out to people like Joe Rogan, who have the largest platforms in the world. Like, Joe Rogan has the largest podcast platform by far in the entire world. And he lets these people come on his show who have very controversial opinions, so controversial that her book is banned across America. And not only just come on his show, but be open in what they say, like not have anything be off limits. Like, you'd be surprised. A lot of these podcasters out there, they'll bring these controversial people on, but they'll, number one, tell them they can't talk about certain things. They can't say certain things. And number two, they'll edit the podcast afterwards. So if they do say anything that could be a little bit offensive or get them in trouble, they'll edit it out afterwards and make it look like they didn't say that, you know, or make them look bad. And Joe Rogan's just like, no, just come on, say whatever the hell you want. And if it happens to be controversial, it is what it is. We're still going to leave it in. We're not going to edit it. So shout out to Joe Rogan for that.
But you know, the campaign to stifle the book, but because I made it onto places like your podcast, because I made it into Amazon, people got it, parents got it, and for the first time, I think parents had another source of information besides the activists' narrative of, oh, you know, you're either going to have a live daughter, you know, a live son or a dead daughter, or this lie that your child's going to kill themselves if you don't do exactly what I say and let them transition now. This lie was the prevailing narrative, and I think, you know, I was able to break through, and I think that's what made people so angry.
That lie falls apart under scrutiny when you look at the suicide rates of people that are trans.
Right. Right. There's actually a new study out of Finland showing that a really good long-term study, you know, I think it came out maybe just this week, showing that the rates, when you control for other mental health issues, the rates of suicide among those with gender dysphoria, discomfort with the biological sex, the rates of suicide are no higher than for the general population.
That's crazy.
And what's crazy about that is they're not going to allow that to be said. Like if there was articles written about that, which there won't be many, not based out of the United States, not publications based in the United States, like guarantee New York Post or anything like that. They're not writing a story about that. They're not talking about that because they would get punished for it if they did. That's not that, you know, that would be them getting out of their lane, stepping out of their lane. They can't do that. So, you know, information like that is going to be suppressed when it comes to the United States and Western civilization. But we also have some other clips from Joe Rogan recently. And like I said, he's been very, very open and you know, being honest about his true opinions. And I absolutely love this clip because it just demonstrates, it shows you exactly why Joe Rogan left the left. And it shows you how far he's gone from being totally bought in to that woke, that leftist ideology, to being completely on the outside looking in and realizing just how ridiculous it is and just saying that I can't be a part of it. I'll check out this clip here from the Post Millennial. It says, Joe Rogan explains how propaganda has driven the left insane. It's all on purpose. Let's check this clip out.
It's done purposely. And I think it's done, if you have enough stuff about like whatever the thing is, whether it's Black Lives Matter or whether it's Ukraine or whether it's free Palestine from the river to the sea, if you have enough of that online, it moves the needle. And the way I described it the other day, it's like if two ships are going in a certain direction. This is a ship where people logically work through things, and this is a ship that's adjusted by the algorithm, affected by the algorithm. And it just moves that much. Over time, this is what we're seeing. So over time, you and I, who used to be on the left, are now like, where's the left? Where are you guys? You guys are so far away. I can't even see you. You're out of your mind. You're fucking chopping dicks off and giving little kids hormone blockers. You have no idea what the long-term consequences are. You're ignoring the health risks. You won't even talk about the health risks. You use things like gender affirming care. What are you saying? What are you saying when you're talking about children? Why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing to blurt out so everybody goes, you're on the right team. That's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to kids? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to San Francisco? It's not like, oh my God, why are we letting these violent criminals out of jail? It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the fucking police?
And the best part about these clips are where Joe Rogan, you can tell it, that's where he's showing his true colors. Like that's where he's really saying what he truly feels about, you know, the left and just the woke mob in general, because he's getting really heated when he's talking about it. You know, it's not like he's arguing with someone. He is just, you could tell that's him like venting. Like this is what he's been thinking for a while, and he's just finally getting it out now. And I'm sure he's been thinking stuff like this for years and years, and it's just kind of boiling over now where he's like, I can't take this anymore. You people are so insane that I just can't hold this in anymore. So here's what I have to say. And when it comes out now, because it's been boiling up for so long, it's heated, you know, it's passionate, and I like to see it. Like Joe Rogan, he still says some questionable things at times, some things that I don't agree with, obviously. But for the most part, you can see he's trending towards common sense a lot more, especially than he used to be whenever he was part of the woke crowd back in the day. But he's definitely trending towards common sense a lot more recently, and I appreciate it. You know, even if he does say things that I totally disagree with, at least he's willing to have people like Abigail Shrier on, and people who have these very, very controversial opinions that are, you know, so controversial that the books are banned, you know, from across America, and he's willing to have them on, and not just have them on, but to just openly discuss the topics that they get banned for. Let me know in the comments what you think about Abigail Shrier going on the Joe Rogan Experience and kind of schooling Joe Rogan a bit on the gender dysphoria topic and why her book got banned. I thought it was a very interesting conversation, especially if you watch the entire thing. But this 2-minute clip was also very interesting to me as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole Joe Rogan situation. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.